Studio podcast, where we discuss the connection between life and acting. Ooh.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Mornings with Matt, the Deering Acting Studio podcast. I don't know, man. There's some juice going on today. There's some fire in my blood a little bit.
Oh yeah,
I'm feeling it.
Yeah.
For sure.
100p.
We've got a guest today. I know everyone prefers when they got a guest. It's because then you don't have to hear me talk over and over and over again.
No, that's not why. Man. It's because the guests are so amazing.
I know. Yeah. So we've got a guest, and I'm very excited about this guest. And as a matter of fact, and this is funny. Okay, so. All right, so this is Jehna Michelle is our guest today, and I only laugh because I know her as another name, just like I know Matthew Raymond as another name.
Right? Yeah.
So like I know these people very intimately, and then they leave Arizona and they take on these stage names that are just great. I mean, it's awesome. But then I'm like, wait a minute, I gotta remember what's your name.
Yeah, I'm like, who? This
What's
is who we
your
got. And he's like, who's that? And then I was like, stay there. And then he's like, oh, okay, got it.
I like this though. Jehna Michelle has got a really, really good ring to it. So, but I want to. Okay, I don't normally do this, but I'm gonna read the bio here, word for word, that she wrote down.
What?
Okay, yeah, I know.
I'm pretty sure that's the first time ever.
And maybe it is, but you got to hear this. Okay, all right. So this is Jehna Michelle's bio.
So eloquently written.
No. It's well written, but that's not my point. I do have a point though.
All right, cool.
All right, here we go. So
I'm gonna lead you in with a drum roll.
Thank you. This is the Jehna Michelle biography. Here we go. I am a 24-year-old Philly-bred girl living in the beautiful city of Atlanta, pursuing my dreams of being an actress. I graduated from Arizona State with a business law degree that hasn't even been touched. I am a food advocate, hip-hop dancer, workout enthusiast. This is us, binge watcher, FX, makeup artist, waitress, best friend, daughter, and overall energy-loving, creative gal.
Dang, drop the mic. Drop the mic on that one.
I specifically like that this is us. I mean, that's just great.
Good, Brian. I'm glad that's what you took from the bio.
I mean, I took something else, and that was one thing, and it is
greatest show of all time.
Devils go!
I bet it's been a while since she heard that, but that is our favorite.
Jehna Michelle, good morning. Hello, welcome to the show.
Hello, good morning.
Man, you look beautiful. You look amazing. We're so happy to see you again. Here's why I did that with the bio, though, for real. I feel like if I were to be an employer and I read that bio, I'm buying. I'm going to hire that person. There's so much love and positivity and energy in it. And I feel like I know her from the bio. I think we can all learn something from this. And also, Brian, for your dating profile, Joey, you don't need a dating profile. This show is your dating profile.
This show is his dating profile, 100%.
Practically, I feel like
single.
This segment has turned into like a hashtag. Practically, it's like hashtag. Is he single? Or hashtag Joey is single.
Hashtag I can't believe this guy's single. He's so cute.
Because now people that I don't know or people that I barely know come in and they're like, are you single? And I'm like, you've been watching this show. You've been watching this show, haven't you?
But if we took this, Brian, and we added this to your dating profile, we just kind of like, took out gal and put in guy. Took out Phoenix or took out Philly, put in Phoenix. I mean, we got something great here.
Absolutely.
I mean, I feel like it has to be Wickenburg. Though, not Phoenix.
Nah, we'll stick to Phoenix. We'll stick to Phoenix.
I'm from the bird.
So that's the problem. That's why you're not getting any dates on this Christian website.
Yeah, that's right.
Because you're not being honest on there.
That's right. Absolutely.
She's so excited about everything she's doing that it makes me want to hire her.
And I mean, look at that smile. Look at the smile. Wow.
Oh, you guys.
So we missed you. We missed you so much. I remember the day you left, actually, and I don't actually do this a lot, truthfully. When students leave, we don't normally make a big thing out of it because, the truth is I'm not always like. I don't want to say I'm not excited. I'm always excited, but sometimes people leave for the wrong reasons and they have the wrong ideas in their mind and whatnot. And I remember that you were on this like precipice.
Don't ask me.
your acting was going next level. I remember, and you were in master class, and you hit this like boom, and it was like a level up, and I was like, yes, like she's about to like, and then she's like later, and I was like, no, Jehna by the other name I remember.
Walking in on the first day, and I was like, listen, I'm here for 7 months, and then I'm moving to Atlanta. And you guys were like, yeah, we'll see if you're ready to go to Atlanta. I'm like, no, I'm going. So,
and I'm so glad you went. You know, like you knew what you wanted. You were ready to work hard, learn what you needed to learn, and then go. And I wouldn't mind jumping right into the move, because I think well you wrote on here something about you had one idea of how your career was going to go the second you got there. Would you mind expanding on that?
Yeah, so I mean, moving here, I moved here by myself. So that was one thing in itself. I don't know anyone here. Well, I didn't. And I expected my career to just take off. Like, I'm going to do one audition and they're going to love me. And then I'm going to be in a movie and I'm going to be famous. It took me like 6 months to even get an audition. Just figuring out how it works out here. Everything is everything is self-taped. Signing up for the right websites and just getting out there and meeting people. And I didn't know anyone, so I'm not gonna go places by myself. And I just had to adjust. And then I finally started meeting people, and most of my projects have been through word of mouth and just getting to know me, and they want me in their project. So yeah, it was a scary move, but I'm glad I did it.
Yeah, you know, I'm glad you did it too. And you're a Philly girl, right? So so you wanted to be in Atlanta, am I right? Like, does that?
I mean, I really wanted to be in LA. But
why? What was it about LA that you wanted?
The beach.
Really? You love the beach?
Yeah.
You love
the beach.
Okay, well, I'm gonna inspire you right now. You got to go to LA then.
I know.
You got to go to LA. You got to.
Yeah, it's lately it's been really heavy on my heart. Aside from acting, the South is just a whole different place from anywhere else I've lived. I've experienced the bad, I've experienced the good, and I need to be in LA. I feel like that's just where I need to be. Atlanta is definitely serving its purpose in my life, and I want to be more established in my career before I go to LA. But it's just been something that's been really heavy on my heart lately. So
my advice to everybody is not to move for geography for your career, but you know, unless you're being pulled there. Like, if you have a job lined up and someone says, "Hey, we want to move you here in order to do the job," then yeah, of course, then you have to make that financial decision. But otherwise, to move to another market thinking that grass is greener on the other side is not really a good idea, you know? So I can tell you, I live in Arizona by choice. You know, I tried LA, I tried New York. I went there, I learned, I studied, I dove in, and I love Arizona. I really do. I don't love it in the summer. As a matter of fact, I hate it in the summer.
I don't think anybody does. Yeah, I think that's
and I like thing. Yeah, for sure. And I like the beach. Like, I like the beach a lot. But I hate the traffic and like the sand and the kids and and worrying about them around water. And I'm like, you know what? I can visit. Like, for me, I can visit LA and I'm cool with that. Some people love that. They don't mind the traffic. They don't mind the smog. Like, they're like, bring it on. I love LA. Those people should go there. I mean, I really believe that. But if you're going there just for the extra acting opportunities, I think that's a mistake, because you're going to end up in this big pool of people, and you realize that it's hard work is the same in LA as it is here, as it is in Atlanta or New Mexico or wherever you think you're going to move, that it's just going to be easier. It's not. Like, 100% it will not be easier. And when we're hearing Jehna talk right now about this idea of how is she getting most of her jobs, word of mouth, relationships, people wanting her to be in their projects because they know her and like her, etc. It's everything that is written in the Acting Is My Day Job book that I wrote, because the whole point of that is you can be successful anywhere, and you have to find your unique path to success. Like, that's the thing for everybody across the board. And a lot of people, I think that's why you fail when you go to LA, and not why you fail, but why some people fail, because a lot of people are successful too, but it's like it's because they go there thinking they're going to follow somebody else's path exactly, and they haven't created their own niche to get to success. So, that's my theory. And I think you already had Atlanta in your mind, so there was something about Atlanta that you were supposed to go there and learn something. So my thought is, like, if you love the beach, if you love LA, you should go there and then make a life there and figure out how to be successful as an actor only because you love it, not because of the extra acting opportunities. That's my personal opinion.
Also, I'm gonna throw you on the spot here, but because I don't get to do that very often.
Do it, bro. Do it.
So you have a pretty cool story about you and Leanne when you were potentially gonna move to LA.
That's right.
And like how that played out, and I love that story. So if you would share that.
So we went out to LA, and what were we doing out there? I think we had a gig or something.
And this was like in the prime of
Yeah,
Leanne's and your acting. Like you were both booking like crazy, especially her. I'm giving.
You guys were both super successful. Well, mainly she was.
Yeah. Like,
Well, I mean, you talk about it all the time. It's just it's
No, I do.
facts,
I
man.
love bragging on my wife. So, yeah. So we were in this time where, truthfully, we were both landing a lot of gigs, and Leanne was really coming into her own as an actress, and she's very talented, and we were on the tail end of her first GoDaddy contract, which was a $100,000 contract. And we were super, excited, and everything was going really well. Became friends even with the CEO, who's like a billionaire, and we thought, this good times are going to roll here. And so we prayed on it, and we had not started our family yet, and we specifically put it to God. Like I remember saying directly to our Lord, I said, hey, if this is supposed to be, if you want us to move to LA, renew the GoDaddy contract. Because we thought it was about 98% sure it was going to happen. Like all of us, that we just thought, like, for sure. So I thought, okay, with that money, we'll be able to bankroll the studio, keep that going, get a little place in LA, audition full time, and we'll be living, slim, but
living,
but living, and we can do this thing, and the studio would be able to survive that. We can make some hires and do some things. And the contract didn't get renewed. And it was like gut check, punch to the stomach. What happened is they sold the company. So it had nothing to do with us. The owner sold the company, and they changed directions. They stopped using GoDaddy girls in general, so that stopped being a thing. She still works with the CEO even to this day. She's about to do a job for him next week. But that question was answered, and in my mind, the door was slammed shut in my face, and it hurt. But I had to go, okay, I trust you. I put it to you, and you said don't, so I will obey. Mm-hmm. And that's the move that was made. And what's interesting is now, because we came back here, I've gotten to work with some really famous people, some awesome opportunities. I opened for Frank Caliendo, who's one of the best comedians in the world. I got to open for him. I got to do a stand-up opening act. My one and only time doing stand-up was in front of a sold-out 1,000-person crowd before one of the best comedians who's ever walked the planet. And it's like that. All that has happened because I listened to God and moved back here. And now we've got 3 beautiful kids. We have this life. We've got a home of our dreams. Like, we have all these things, and yet I never stopped acting. I can still act. I would love to be in the next production. Like Matthew Geiger was on, or Matthew Raymond was on the show.
He did it.
And I'm like, dude, come. We'll be in sketches with you. Like, I love acting, of course, but I love teaching too. And there was something God had for me here. There was something I was supposed to do here, and so said yes to it. And I think that's the key. The key is to get into spirit, to listen, to connect, and then follow God's lead fearlessly. Because if you're being directed from the inside and it's true and it's real, then you're going to be making the right moves. Much like Atlanta was the right move for you. I had a very similar experience when I went to New York and I was younger. This is pre-Leanne, so I was much nerdier back then, and
much nerdier.
Thank you, Brian.
Like really, like the nerdiest you could be, honestly.
Correct, I was. And so I go out to New York and I've got stars in my eyes. I was same as you. I was like, as soon as I get there, boom, gonna audition, gonna get agent, gonna be on stage, gonna be on, you know, a bunch of shows, and there we go. And I got out there and it was like, I couldn't get an audition. Like I couldn't get in front of people. And then I was like, all right, so I'm going to take classes with some of the best actors in the world because all the best actors come to New York. And I get into class and I'm like, really? Yeah. Like the actors weren't trying that hard. Like they were okay. The teachers were just okay. And I was like, well, I thought this was a major market. Like, what's the deal? And then I would go to Broadway and I would see these great actors that were so much better than me. And I'm like, those are the people I want to train with. Those are the people I want, but I can't touch them. I can't get near them. You know, I can just watch and be in awe and try to learn. But at the same time, it's like, I realized the town does not make the success. Like, it's not about that. So I went to New York and I learned a lot of lessons. I grew up a little bit. And so it helped me. It was definitely one of those stops that needed to happen. But again, that was the God calling me and saying, go there. But then God said, go back. You know, you learn what you needed to learn. Now come back. And so perhaps that's what's going on with you right now. And you may be in this limbo land here where it's like, okay, now you got to listen to Spirit, and the Spirit's going to tell you where to go.
Yeah. So kind of on the topic of faith and everything like that, I was raised in a household where my mom let us believe in whatever we wanted to believe in. And going mostly through like my senior year of college and moving here, because this is really when I started my adult life. Like I'm financially all on my own, don't have anyone here. So this is real adult life for me. I've been trying to find what I believe in. And I definitely, you know, I pray every day. And my challenge right now is asking God a question and then he'll give me the answer. And I'll be like, are you sure? And kind of taking a step back and not trusting it all the way.
Yeah.
So that's, and then so in the questionnaire, I was saying my fears is that what if this isn't for me? And I know like God put this on my heart for a reason, and it's not just because, but I don't know. It's hard. It's hard being in an industry where rejection is all you know, and then you get one yes. And then being on set is amazing and it makes it all worth it. But then you go back to rejection.
Yeah.
And that's really hard.
All right. I'm going to answer this question. I'm going to start off with, there's this great book. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's called The Bible. Have you heard of this book?
Yes.
I recommend you pick up that book and start reading it in the morning. This is what changed my life. I did February 2nd, 2018, the day I woke up, is the day I started reading the Bible every morning. Read it this morning. It's just a part of my daily habit now, and it has revolutionized everything for me. I'm so far from perfect, like I can't even describe. I ate so much sugar last night before bed that it's indescribable how much sugar I ate. It's like I woke up going like, dude, like, who are you? Like I tapped into my kid's sugar bowl. And I was eating Fun Dip. Like what grown up eats Fun Dip still? But I did. I had so much Fun Dip.
I did.
It was delicious. And yet I'm like, why? Like,
Why would you?
What are you doing?
Was your tongue all like blue and green?
Dude, I'm sad about my knee. I know it. I'm depressed. It's like I want to be working out. So now I'm like, I got to be riding my bike every day. Like that's the thing. So anyway, enough about me.
Instead, you were riding my bike.
That's right. Yeah. But if you, but not by choice because I forgot about it.
Oh, really?
I woke up this morning. I was like, oh, no car. Cool. Yeah. So if you tap into that book, it'll give you a lot of answers. But the idea is trust, right? And you're right. It's so hard. I love this analogy that I use about riding a bike with my son. Okay. And so we talk about God, or the Bible talks about God being God the Father. So if you can think about God as a father figure to you, and my youngest is 1.5. And he has yet to have the world really attack him too much, a little bit, but not as much as the other kids. So he's not as aware of fear. He's got a lot of trust because he hasn't really ran into too many bumps and bruises. So when I get home, I pick up all the kids. They all know when Daddy gets home, you get picked up. And so when I pick up the older two and I go to kind of lift them up, they kind of grab my arms in a little bit of fear. So I can't throw them up in the air anymore. Yes, they're heavier, but more so because they're grabbing onto me. So they don't get to have as much fun because they're grabbing on. And if I try to throw them when they're grabbing on, I might slip and they might fall. My youngest, zero fear. He's just like, and I toss him up in the air, 5 feet up in the air, and then I catch him, and he has all this trust. And the other kids are like, do that to me. And I'm like, I can't because of your own fear holding you back is what I'm thinking, right? So you want to be like free like that and think about God just protecting you and knowing that there's that much fun to be had. So then the other analogy is on the bike, right? So I've got my young son, and he's riding his bike, and we just learned how to ride the bike. We're coming up to a stop sign, and he won't stop, so I yell at him. He won't stop. I yell at him, and he falls off the bike, bumps and bruises, and the car drives by. And he's crying, and he's looking up at me. He didn't see the car. And he's like, why would you yell at me? I'm so mad at you, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I yelled at you because I love you. And he's like, oh. And I was like, I would have knocked you off your bike. I would have pushed you off your. He's like, you would? And he's so mad. I'm like, yeah, 100%. And I also would have sacrificed my own life if I had to. I would have driven myself in front of a car because I love you that much. And I think that's what God does for us, is he shuts doors in order to redirect you. And when you listen and listen fearlessly, often and easily, then you find yourself to joy quickly. You find yourself to the new path. But sometimes when you resist, God's like, and he just knocks you off the bike, and then you get all bumped and bruised. You get mad at God. You're like, why would you do that? Instead of saying thank you. So the idea is trust God, thank God. So if you can trust in the worst times and then say thank you when you're falling and go, there must be a reason. There must be a reason. Thank you. That's when you can live in this really like this state of peace, basically.
I had a thought in my head and it just left my brain. So I don't know what I was going to say. Not even with like acting, but with love that I found in Atlanta. I feel like God will keep, I don't want to say hurting you until you listen, but like when patterns are repeated and you're not listening, they're going to keep happening.
That's right. So I want to talk into your fear really quick, because I think that a lot of people struggle with this same idea. What if this isn't for me? Right? You sort of ask that thing. My thought is, if you're being called to it, there's a reason, but for you to let go completely of what that thing is, or define what that thing is for you, and release money, fame, all that, release it. And then go, why do I want, what is it that's driving me to do this? What is it that I'm being called to do? And then do that thing. You know, just being an actor, performer in general, like if that's what you want, you know you can do that. You're already doing that. So you're already successful. You're already an actress in those areas. So if you're feeling like you're not successful, it's because you're putting your stake on something that is external. And you're saying, if I don't make X amount of money, or if I don't land X job or whatever, then that means I'm not successful. But that's actually not true. But it's just because you haven't set your exact goal on something that's within your power for you to do on your own.
So this is what I was going to say. I just remembered.
Hit it.
About the whole trust thing.
Yeah.
I'm very trusting, and I think I'm too trusting. And like moving to Atlanta, moving to a new place, I have gotten hurt many times because of how trusting I am.
Well, let me rewind really quick, because I do want to hear the rest of what you have to say. But understand that I said trust God, thank God. I didn't say trust people. As a matter of fact, don't trust people. I mean, I'm gonna tell you that. I'm gonna tell you that right now. People have burned me so many times, you have no idea. People I've loved so hard have come back and burned us, and we're like, what? Like, how? You were taking classes for like 3 years. I helped launch you, and now you don't like us? Like, weird. Like, I can tell you, like, there's this weird stuff. Like, people are people, you know. But go ahead. So you've been burned. You've trusted too much.
So then, how do you differentiate when you trust God and God is putting this person in your life, you're not trusting God to put a good person in your life.
What do you mean?
So God puts this person in my life, and then this person hurts me.
Mm-hmm.
So then I turn to God, and I'm like, why would you put this person in my life?
Sure.
And I get that there needs to be good in the world, there needs to be bad in the world. We need balance. But when it's a repeated thing and I keep getting hurt, just by friends, family, like any type of relationships, then I turn, it's not even to the people that have hurt me, because I'm a very forgiving person, but it's more so to God, like, why do you keep putting these people in my life?
I think that's an awesome question to ask.
Ask who? Ask God?
I mean, you're asking him. You're saying, why do you keep doing this? So in other words, what is it that you need me to learn that I haven't learned yet?
Yeah.
And you gotta, and what is the lesson? Like, what keeps coming up? What's the same trap that you keep falling into? It's like this, you know, let's say my wife is like praying for patience. She's like, I need to become more, I wish I had more patience. I wish I had more patience. I wish I had more patience. Well, how does God teach patience? It puts you in situations. No, he puts you in situations that causes you to have to be patient.
I like to jump on this as well.
Yeah.
So biblically, because I get this question a lot, and so the thing that I go back to is if it's easy and all the relationships in your life feel super easy and all the things are like cake, you're probably doing it wrong. Because like biblically, as far as like going right back to the word, what God says continuously is if you're representing him, and if you're going out there and loving people the way that you should, and not loving the way the world says to love, but the way that God says to love, then it's actually not going to be easy. That relationships are going to be challenging, that honestly you're going to be persecuted in a lot of ways. And that's actually promised. And what's promised on the other end of that is exactly what you're saying, that he'll always be there to pick you up, always. That no matter what, whatever's going on, that God will be right there to listen, to help you. And if you're questioning, like Matt was saying, and asking that right question, he'll teach you something through it. He'll grow you through it so that you can help somebody else, so that you can draw someone else closer to you or to God, and through your story, help them maybe not make some of the struggle points that you had to deal with, and draw them closer to him. So that's sort of like the big lesson that I've learned and been able to do. And that's how I was able to get through all my stuff, through my coma stuff and all the craziness that happened to me, is when I went into the word, I realized like, hey, this was never promised to be easy. What you promised is that you'd love me, that you'd be there for me, and that if I let you, that you would use whatever happens to me here to glorify you and to point people to you. So that would be my big piece of advice, just jumping right off what Matt said there, was realizing that's what's promised, and really going into what does God promise, and what does God say a relationship looks like with him.
Right. And like I said earlier, I didn't grow up in a household where I had that to believe in. So me finding God, if that's the term you want to use, like you all have been, but like Brian, especially, you've been such like a big inspiration in that sense. Like walking into Daring Studio, I see this guy with no fingers, but he has this huge smile on his face. And then I was taking classes when you were still looking for a kidney, and you always had such a positive mind, like, oh, I'm going to get it. I'm just waiting for it to come in. Mm-hmm. And then I sit back and I'm like, why am I stressing about little things? And so I always think about you in that aspect.
But you know what? We will always think of you. We will never forget the fact that you offered yours.
Absolutely.
And we know that, and something you don't talk about, and something that nobody would ever know about. And the fact that it didn't come true because the blood types and all that didn't match, you gained all the the spiritual credit there, because you were willing to sacrifice who you are for somebody else who you knew but didn't know so well. You just thought,
as soon as I met him,
yeah, you just
I was
knew.
like, where's the application?
It's amazing. It's incredible, the heart that you have, and that is going to serve you 100%. So you have to think to yourself, when it comes to these these relationships, they're hardening you. in a good way. You know, that's like a workout that you're getting in order to protect you for the next step. So imagine this, okay? Imagine some of the mistakes you made, let's just say in the last year and a half, and with relationships and people burning you and lack of trust and all that kind of stuff. And imagine if that happened on a public scale in the tabloids all over the place. You know, if you had already gotten some sort of a fame or a bump, and then all of a sudden all this whirlwind, whatever it is that went on in your life happened, like
A lot.
right? How much would you have hated that?
Everything.
Right. It would have been the worst. So you have to understand, like, God's been protecting me, been hardening me, been helping me understand how to operate, how to live as a woman and live into myself and find me before some of these other things come true, because otherwise it's going to be much worse. Like it would. I don't ever wish fame upon anybody. I really don't. I mean, it's hard. Even the people, like, I know some really, really good people who are famous, and they're relatively, their lives are pretty squeaky clean. So there's not a whole lot to attack, but it's hard. Like, it's really hard to be famous. Like, you know, you get weirdos, you get attacks, you get you know, nasty things. Like, I remember when Leanne did her first Super Bowl commercial, she was in the commercial with Danica Patrick, and you know, she was wearing a cute outfit and stuff, and there was a lot of comments. There were some really crude comments, and then there were some really nasty comments, like really, really just horrific things. And we had to just cut ourselves off completely from it, because it was like, we had to realize, like, that's not, it's almost like not real. Like, these are just trolls of people and whatnot that we have to pretend don't exist, you know? And then we thought, man, that's pretty small to just be an actor that's not a name known actor who happens to be in this commercial that gets a lot of views. Relatively speaking, that's tiny bit of fame compared to, like, you know, even like a B-list actor. And so the amount of thick skin you have to learn how to have is a big deal. So you may be getting prepared right now for something super huge. And whatever it is you're learning is preparing you for the right guy that might come in your life, or the right person that might come in your life, or, you know, the right agent, or the right whatever is supposed to come. And you're learning and navigating different things in order to find that place.
And I'd like to rewind again really quick.
Rewind?
Back to the kidney thing. So, you know, you said without hesitation, first time I met him, right? And this is just kind of how God works, because when you said that to me about the kidney, and again, you talked about me being so positive and stuff, like, my mind went, what? Like, why? Like you don't even, like, know me that well. You've just gotten to know me. Like, what? Like, and then that got me to go home and just start wrestling with me and thinking about, like, how God, like, if this not being the one, whatever, but how have you blessed me so much that somebody would be willing to do something like this for me? And that's like some of those things, again, behind the scenes that you don't see is me going home and what God's doing for me through you. And I got to tell you, it was a lot. It was a whole lot, because it helped me find and understand my value and what I can bring to the table and how I can be used and what I'm doing, because we doubt ourselves all the time. Everybody does. Like, you find like, when you're doing certain things, you get in your own head. And so even as a teacher and stuff, you know, sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm not, like, good enough, and I'm not affecting people enough. And then somebody like you comes in and does something like that, and I'm like, wow, like, thank you, God. Thank you for reminding me that you are here and you do got me, and thank you, you know? So that's just one of those things, like, sometimes you don't get to see the way that it works, but that's what that did for me, and that's kind of how I like to look at things, is that it revolves and comes back around in ways that you could never possibly imagine. And the way you affect people, you'll maybe never even find out ever, if not for years later.
I definitely, like, called my mom right after I left and said that. And I was like, Mom, I'm donating my kidney to Brian. She's like, first off, who's Brian? And why are you giving him your kidney? I'm like, no, it's happening. If I'm a match, it's happening. So she was like, why? But yeah, it was just something. And I mean, I clearly went home and I thought about it because I had known you, but that was the first time that you had opened up about that. And it sat on me and I was like, what if my child needs a kidney down the road? Like, I won't be able to give that to them. And I was like, but right now, this is what's important. But that's also my issue because I care so much. And I'm like, no, I just need to give it to him. And I mean, clearly I still would have if I was matched. But everything happens for a reason. And I don't know what that's just that.
Let's jump into another topic that I think is one that people would resonate with, which is you asked, would you choose love over career dreams or career dreams over love?
Are you asking me?
No. You're asking me this. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
The same way you didn't hesitate about the kidney, I will not hesitate to say love. You
okay.
You know, but what is love? You know, what do you mean by that?
Right.
You know, because if it's true love and you're really with the right person, that shouldn't necessarily impede your dreams.
Right.
And I can tell you that I'm living proof, and there's a lot of people. I mean, Frank Caliendo is one of them. There's a lot of people that are great family men and women who have awesome careers and do what they love, and they have a family also. So if you're thinking of, you know, having a family and you know, settling down or dating, and you're like afraid of that, I wouldn't be. You know, I think be open to it. I don't the same way with acting, I wouldn't ever be going out. Like, if you're trying too hard in the dating world, you're going to be very unsuccessful because you're going to be the person trying too hard to date. But if you're going out there and you're just being you and you're being awesome, there's a good chance that, you know, someone might come along. And I think I wouldn't be closed-minded to it. But then as you share your dreams and you share your aspirations and where you're going to go, you're going to see, do my values line up with this person's values, you know, and are we going in the same direction? And what do I really want? Because when it comes down to it, you got to say, like, what do I really want when it comes to performance, you know? So let's imagine you meet a guy, all right, and you're gonna date, and he's like a real estate mogul, and it's like, all right, now it's gonna take me all over the world, and I have to just like, does that mean I got to give up my career, right? But what if you got to be like representing his company? And what if you were on tons of videos and you were like doing a bunch of stuff and technically working more as an actress than you've ever worked before in your life? It just happens to be through the person you love. I mean, then you got to go back to, are you now unsuccessful or not? And I think that there's so many ways to get to success, but you have to define success for you. That is not, you know, in this tiny little sliver of, you know, a TV show or a famous something or whatever. Because even when that stuff comes true, you have to think about it. If you became famous or you had a bunch of money and then you don't have love, what do you have?
Are you successful in your mind? Yeah.
I'm going to tell you right now, you're not. You'll be sad. You'll be rich and sad. You know, and it's one of those things where then you'll turn to other things to try to fill that void, but that void is like there, you know? So if you can become whole on the inside, and you really got to work on you first, got to forgive you, got to love you first, then you'll be lovable to others, and then just like fearlessly be you at the highest level. You'll be attractive to not only, you know, someone who's going to be in a relationship with you, but also you'll be attractive to producers and directors and all kinds of different people in different ways, because you're living your true self and you are 100% committed to the work and to the craft and to getting better.
And I think there is so much proof of this just in the industry itself. Just when you look at these actors, there's a lot of people and in any industry really who make so much money, and you can just tell that they are completely unhappy. And ideally, you know, again, going back to God, time, all of that, like, we only have so much time. So even right now on your journey, like every day, you've got to be willing to find the joy in it. You've got to be willing to find love. And the way we talk about it here, the way Matt talks about it in this book, is falling in love with the process. In other words, finding in love with the growth and every single day. And then it won't matter what like film you're on or what you're doing, because you'll be doing what you love by just loving yourself and getting on the projects. Like I've followed a lot of this stuff you've done, and it's been fun to watch the FX makeup and just all the cool things you're doing. And if you look at it from that perspective and that point of view, all of a sudden you realize I actually am. There's a lot of things that I'm very grateful for, and then you keep filling your life and with more of those things, and not worrying about, like Matt said, that big picture.
Mm-hmm.
All
Makes
right.
a lot of sense.
All right, so here we go. We're gonna jump into when am I gonna be teaching in Atlanta?
Okay.
It's a good question. Is Atlanta ready for our teaching here?
I mean, they may not be, but I am.
All right. Let's book it right now, Brian. You got a calendar?
Let's book it. I got a calendar.
We're going to book it right now. How long are you
Okay.
going to be in Atlanta?
Me?
Yeah, you. You'll be there at least another 6 months?
Oh, for sure.
All right. So we need at least 6 months lead time.
October, November, December, January, February, March. Okay.
March, April.
Yeah, my lease is up in March.
Your lease is up in March? Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
we're
But
looking at-
more than likely, I'll probably stay here for at least another year.
How is the summer
So
there?
you guys have time.
What's the summer like?
It's
there?
nice.
Is it nice? We're
It's
going in the
humid.
summer.
It's humid.
Let's go in the summertime.
He goes, it's nice. It's humid.
Let's go in the summertime, Brian. Pick a date in the summer.
Okay. Date in the summer. Let's take a look here.
We're gonna book it right now, and you're gonna be the eyes on the ground over there. We're gonna scout a location. We're gonna market this. We're gonna fill up some place in Atlanta. We're gonna teach at a high level. We're gonna put it up on for the world to see, and it's gonna be amazing.
So down.
So down. Me too.
Wait, does that mean that we're taking our equipment?
Yeah, dog. That means you're getting on a plane, Joey.
Hey, that's
Hey.
cool. Dang. I won't be scared to get on a plane anymore at that point.
You're scared to get on a plane?
I mean, with Corona.
Oh yeah.
Here's the thing. I was going to get on a plane to go the last time we went to Colorado. My whole family was like, no.
And by the way, you had this amazing quote here, which was so nice. I'm gonna read this while Brian fiddles with
Dang,
dates here.
let me put it back.
Are you talking about me?
I'm talking about you, Jenna.
Oh, okay.
Jehna
Are
Michelle.
you talking about me?
You say to this day, Deering Acting Studio has been my absolute favorite studio! Exclamation point. I've yet to find anything like it in Arizona or Atlanta. Not only the style of teaching in this studio, but how hands-on all of the teachers are. There's so much love in the studio that just walking into the building, you can feel it. Another exclamation point. Each week, class was the number one thing I always look forward to. Another exclamation point. So nice of you to say all that stuff. I appreciate it. But I wanted to remind you and remind the world here that in the meantime, while you're waiting for us to make our trek out to Atlanta, we are teaching virtually.
Are you?
We are. That's right. So
I did know that.
And as a matter of fact, I'm the one teaching the actual virtual classes as of right now. So you can get into script and improv with me weekly online.
Oh,
Is it like a Zoom call?
It's like a Zoom call. Yeah. It's like a Zoom call.
I saw that when I was actually like signing up for classes with you guys, but I totally forgot about it. And I'm a very big in-person person.
I am too, and I always was, and I can tell you that we've done this by like we had to jump in. We were ready to do it, and then we kind of tested it out. So what we've done is we've made it to be hopefully not just a Zoom call, because I like that. As a matter of fact, those were my exact words.
His exact word.
I was like,
exact words.
I don't want to be just a Zoom call.
Zoom call.
So what we've done is now we're creating how do we teach you to act from within the box, I call it. So your phone is your box, or your camera is your box, and you are now your own producer. You're your own, set designer, etc. And you can use different camera angles. Like, you can do so much producing and acting within this space. And depending on how the pandemic goes and with it, you know, resurfacing, or who knows what's going to go on with this world, I feel like that's a skill we have to have. So now all of a sudden it's become a thing where I'm going to be very, very honest with you. Is it my favorite way to teach? It's not. I actually prefer to teach in person. However, I now feel it to be necessary training that I'm thinking from now on we will have to offer, even if there was no pandemic, because people need to have this particular skill. Like you said, you went to Atlanta, everything was self-tape. Well, you gotta know how to act in the box. You gotta know how to create a self-tape that's really good, that's gonna make you stand out.
Right.
All right, I got 2 for you.
You got 2?
I got 2. So it depends on what we want to do, okay? June obviously has Valleywood and stuff, so we'd be doing mid-month, the 19th. It'd be like a weekend trip. Right, exactly. I'm thinking August, first weekend of August, because we take that first week off for classes. We do it on either we do it on...
Let's do end of August.
Don't we
End of August? Okay.
End of August.
1, 2,
I was gonna say our week off's at
3,
the end of the month, not the beginning.
at
Right?
the depending on the
End of August, Brian.
Yeah,
I'm
end of
looking,
August.
I'm looking.
End of August.
Brian, how
We're
long
going at
does,
the end of
guys, I'm
August.
looking.
Brian, how long does it take to get to the end of August?
Yo, we haven't finished the schedule for the year, okay? So it's either going to be, depending on which week we have off, the 28th of August or the 4th of September, technically.
Cool.
Why don't we just
whichever day
set-
it is.
set one of
28th of
those-
August.
Yeah, let's.
It's going to be the
let's
28th
just
of August, everybody.
Boom.
Choose one of those
28th
days.
of
August 28th, we're going to Atlanta.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be wearing my Cardinals
Looking
jersey.
forward to that.
Don't expect me to put on any Falcons gear.
I would never expect that of you, Joe.
Never, ever.
And I know you're from Philly, but I don't like the Eagles either. So.
That's okay.
She's
All
a
right.
forgiving person, remember?
What other question you got for us? Anything?
I don't think I have any other questions.
All right. Well, this was awesome. This was as good of an episode as I had hoped. And, you know, we never know how it's going to go. I had no idea we were going to talk so much God talk in here. But it just sort of rose to the surface. And so I would never push anybody in any direction whatsoever. But, you know, you were asking the questions and you were putting yourself in this place where you're going, you know, I'm curious. I'm asking questions. And that's all I can say is from the curiosity, you know, maybe continue to be curious and go down certain paths and see what's on the other side of it. Because I think when you're asking the right questions, you're going to get good answers. You know, and the right question is why do these people keep coming into my life? Like, why do I need to learn the same lesson? Did I not learn it? Did I think it was one lesson and it wasn't that lesson? Really, it's this other thing. Is it a deep-seated, deep-rooted something inside me? Which probably it is. You know, usually that's what it was for me. I had to go deep inside and forgive myself for my past and my thoughts and my, you know, all the things. And I love myself in order to be lovable to others, in order to be totally free. And so, you know, you got to do some digging and some work in there and realize how wonderful of a person you are. Like literally because I didn't recognize your name, like I said, when I realized who you were, I was like, oh yes, I cannot wait to have, like, you bring me a lot of joy. I'm just very, very excited to have you on the show. I feel so blessed. You know, we're very lucky we get to do this, you know. I mean, we're in a place where we started this for a very particular purpose, which was to help people during the coronavirus. That's why this show started. And then all of a sudden, it just started taking wings. And I got to tell you, recently, and you're one of the favorite episodes I've ever had right now. And we've had so many cool guests on the show already. Like, it's unbelievable. We're in our first year. Somebody who's a lead actor in a major show, her publicist reached out to us and said, would you have our actor on your show? We're like, yeah.
Sure.
You know, we have.
Are you sure you got the right people?
Right. We've got a young model that's coming on tomorrow. She's got like a bazillion followers on Instagram, and all of a sudden, like, we put up a thing about her being on the show, And then all of her friends who also have a bazillion followers on Instagram are like commenting on our thing, and we're like, whoa, we look way cooler than we are. You know, so it's like funny. It's like we're so excited, but it's coming from this place of giving, this place of love, right? So love comes first, and if you make that the center of what you're doing, you know, and it's different. It's different than just blindly trusting, you know. And I would say that if you're coming from love and you're really listening at a deep level, you might have gotten warning signs early that you neglected to listen to.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So that's the hint that you need to take earlier so that you don't get burned. As soon as you feel it, as soon as the instinct says, you got to jump. You got to go, nope. And you got to trust it, and you got to do, there's another path, there's something better over here, and I'm willing to go down that path. But the longer you don't listen to that instinct inside of you that's telling you it's not right, the more painful it's going to be. It never gets easier, you know, ever.
Yeah.
If you know you're going to break up with somebody, like, do it yesterday, because
Do it, yes.
6 months from now it doesn't make it better. It makes it so much harder, you know, for both parties. It's just hard. You know, and then you can ideally like not burn bridges along the way and still be friends with people and like all that kind of stuff. But there's so many things where, you know, waiting when you knew it wasn't right is not a good thing, you know. And so, yeah, take that with you. Stay curious, stay beautiful, keep that humble heart. We sure do love you and adore you back here in Arizona.
Yes, I miss you guys. I will see you soon then. I'm going to sign up for these virtual classes because classes in Atlanta just aren't it.
Well, here's what I'm going to do then for you in return. The first month is on me.
Aww.
100%. So you're going to be.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're going to be in script and improv, both in the virtual classes. It's on me. Come back. Come with an open heart. I know but it's not just a Zoom call. It's going to be very good teaching, hopefully, through a Zoom call. This is going to be the idea. And, you know, come with an open heart, ready to learn and grow. And ideally, we can help spread the idea of, hey, there's really good training that you can have from anywhere in the world. Like one of our students is from Nigeria. So just understand that now we are connecting with people in a whole new way. And there's so much that we all can learn from him, and he can learn from us, and round and round. And so now you're going to go, okay, I can expand my reach here as a student, and I can soak up as much knowledge as possible. And then, yes, I can encourage, like, trust me, I'm now being called to go to Nigeria and teach as well. And I'm like, let's set a date, Brian.
Let's do it.
Let's put it on the calendar. And Joey's like, but what about coronavirus?
I'm a walrus.
Walrus.
That's like the
really
voice
funny.
you made.
But what about the coronavirus? And I'm like, how is this guy single? Like, it's unbelievable.
How is he single?
It blows
Makes no
my
sense.
mind.
Oh my
All right,
gosh.
ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. This has been Mornings with Matt, the Deering Acting Studio Podcast. Please do not forget to like, subscribe. We keep forgetting to say subscribe at the beginning of the show.
You're right. We got to do it at the beginning of the show.
Because if people
100%.
are not watching still, then they haven't gotten my suggestion, which was to subscribe. But
yeah.
please
yeah.
subscribe
and
to the show.
comment.
Is
as
it really
well.
a suggestion,
Comment.
or is it more of like a
Subscribe.
subscribe?
Yeah, please
Do
subscribe.
it.
Please subscribe. And you know what? Here's why. We're trying to spread light-driven content to the planet, and you can help us do that by subscribing to the channel.
And
And
commenting
now, if
about
you
it
don't
100%.
subscribe, you probably feel bad.
You should feel bad. And there's a big lighthouse fundraiser here. Is it next? It's next week, right?
It's not this weekend, but the following weekend.
That would be next week. Yes.
Yes,
That's the
technically next
definition
week.
of
Yes.
next week.
Wait. What? It's not this weekend?
Not this weekend,
following
but the
weekend.
following weekend, that Friday.
Interesting.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's when it is. How
Interesting.
like it's not possible for the end of a show to be more awkward than this one just got.
Yep.
Yep.
So I'm gonna leave you on this awkward
okay.
smile.
Thanks for listening to Mornings with Matt. Please like, subscribe, and follow us at Deering Acting Studio to keep up with the latest content. For more information on classes, private lessons, or professional development coaching, visit www.deeringstudio.com. Have a Deering day, everyone.